What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of 704 High School Highlights. Today, I am joined by guys from the Lake Norman football team, and recently they had a record number of guys signing to play at the next level. So we're going to meet a few of them here today. Guys, go down the line, say your first and last name for me, and where y'all are going.
Jackson Miller, Henderson State.
Matt Hines, Limestone.
Jack Baker, Mars Hill.
Brock Strom, Mount Union.
So that's a lot of schools that are both in the state and out of state. Is that right?
Yeah.
So first off, talk a little bit about what got y'all into football and kind of how you developed over time. And anyone can start.
For me, it was a lot of my friends played. I started in 7th grade. I'd never played football before that, so it's not really peer pressure, but I saw my friends playing it, so I was like, all right, I'll just give it a try. And my first year, I loved it, and ever since, I've just stayed with it, and always wanted to play college football, so kind of just continued from there.
Pretty much growing up, families always watch football. I've always liked it. I started out playing soccer. I was like, I just wanted more contact, so I finally played football first grade and loved it ever since.
I started playing flag football when I was really young, and then when I was in 2nd grade, that's when I started playing tackle football and just been all over the place since then. And playing college ball has always been a lifelong dream of mine.
I didn't have a choice. I had to play when I was really young. I was like 6 years old. Family's all about football, so haven't skipped a year yet. Every year since I was 6. So not gonna play some college ball.
So talk a little bit about, guys, just having all 7 of you sign yesterday. Jackson, you can start. Just what was that like to see all of y'all come together and be able to have a class of 2023 that's all going to play, all 7 of y'all playing college football?
It felt pretty surreal because most of us had played ever since middle school together. Matt, Brock, and I, we played Brawley all the way. So, 7 years playing football together, I was like, wow, this moment, we've worked so hard for it, and it just felt really surreal.
Yeah, it was good seeing all the hard work paid off, like everyone happy, because I know how much everyone loves football here. So it was good to see everyone get paid off.
Yeah, like what Matt was saying, like all the hard work getting paid off. Because we're here together day in and day out. I've been with these guys for 4 years. They've been together since middle school, but like over the 4 years, you see each other like throughout the summers and stuff like that. So you know that everyone's kind of putting in the same amount of work, and it's just kind of seeing everyone's dream come true it's a blessing to see that.
Yeah, they said it.
So Brock, talk a little bit about what position you're going to be going at Mount Union.
Yeah, I'll be staying at center. Always been on the offense line. Always been a bigger guy. So yeah, I'll be playing some center up there. I was long snapping for a little bit, but not enough contact, man. It's boring. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but if you get a contract like J.J. Jansen, you can play for 11, 12 years.
And I
as a long
love J.J.
snapper.
Jansen. I've watched him for a long time play with the Panthers. So that was a thought for a little bit, but I just have more fun down in the trenches, man. It's just way better. So,
Jack, what about you?
I'm gonna start out playing safety at Mars Hill, and then they want me to get to 230, and then eventually move down in the box for them.
Offense tackle. I've always played tackle. Doesn't matter which side. I know people have a preference, but I'm good with whatever. There's some bigger guys. Like, they got some big bodies, but they said they like me at tackle, so.
I'll be playing more H-back probably my first few years, and as I gain weight, I'll probably transition more of tight end, hand in the dirt.
So each of y'all tell me a little bit about the school you're going to and kind of how you got in connection with them, what really made it stick for you. And Jackson, you can start.
Yeah, so I found out Henderson State because I want to be a pilot. So there's very select schools in the United States that even have aviation programs, and even more select that have football programs as well. So my dad and I, we researched the best aviation schools that have football, and they were one of them. And they were a D2 school, so we kind of just targeted the SCS D2 schools and went to camp there. And I love the campus, love the coaching staff, and just kind of felt right. And so once I got that offer, I was like, yeah, this is the place.
Matt, what about you?
About in December, I texted the O-line coach, Nate Gardner. So he was a former NFL lineman, and he liked my film. He said, as a former O-lineman, he said he could really build me, so that, tempted me. And then I picked up a couple offers from the SAC, and then they finally offered, I think it was the Sunday before signing day, and it just felt right, so I just pulled the trigger.
And that was Limestone, right?
Yeah.
Now, where is that?
Gaffney, South Carolina.
All right. So you're a bit closer to home.
Yeah, it's only an hour.
Was that important for you to stay in that area?
Yeah, I wanted to stay home, so that's good.
Jack, what about you?
So Mars Hill's located about 20 minutes north of Asheville. I've been talking to them for a really, really long time, well over a year. And Coach Goodwin, he's the linebackers coach there at Mars Hill. He came by in December and talked to me and kicked it off with him, like really like him as a coach, really like him as a person. Then went on a couple of visits up there. And then back in March, me and my family went up there for a spring practice, and he's like, man, we're full. Like, we ain't got no more room, but I've made another roster spot for you. So if you want it, then take it. And I'm like, yeah, I really like that. They made me feel at home there. I mean, their facilities up there are beautiful, and it's a beautiful area. So that place really felt like home.
Brock, what about you?
I'm going to Ohio, definitely. Yeah, it's gonna be cold, but I don't know. Recruiting was. I got my first offer junior year, Ferrum College. Kind of died down after that, and then it picked back up for a little bit. And then Coach Ski, which I'll see him next week, reached out from Mount Union and went up on a visit. They it's a big campus, nice facilities for a Division III school, but they win, so keyed in on that. Like I wanted to win. If I'm gonna play ball, that's what I want to do. So that was a school for me. Great guys. I'm ready to get up there, go to work.
So throughout the 70, all you have D3, D2, and even D1 schools represented, right? Is that what I was seeing? So talk a little bit about just the wide scope of talent that y'all have in the different areas that y'all are all going to.
Yeah, so I'm going to Arkansas. Midwest D2 is that's a pretty big powerhouse out there. Of course, on our team we had Sam, who's not here, but he's going to Presbyterian. They're a D1 school. They're of course in our conference we have guys. We have a kid on our team, Ethan Callaway, has Power 5 offers, and played against kids that are going D1, have Power 5 offers and all that. So getting to play against that competition, I think, really helped us a lot and prepared us really well for what's ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just shows like our love for football. Like no matter the level, I don't really care. Like I'm just happy to see everyone's going somewhere.
Something that we've seen a lot of, like with all of our recruiting process, is that the difference between D3, D2, and like FCS and FBS. I mean, it's all really starting to tie there together. Like especially with the transfer portal in there now, because guys that went D1 and have all their COVID years are now dropping, and that's taking up spots on like the FCS schools that maybe like I think all four of us in this room could have went and played FCS, but since you have so many guys dropping down, I mean you like everybody starts to drop down to like a different level, but people like see these lower levels I feel like so much as like maybe like a downgrade or something like that, but at the end of the day, I mean we all talk about it how only 7% of all high school athletes get to go play college football. So I mean just seeing all of our guys be able to go do that at any level has just been amazing.
It'll be fun. Play some competition, but you can't beat them, join them. So I'm gonna have to compete for a spot. I don't know. I'm ready to reach out to these guys after a few years and see how it all shook out. See the real difference between them. There's great competition on all levels, but yeah.
And when you saw, of course, Cam Newton, he had a video on Twitter the other day talking to guys in his camp about, you could go to these big Power 5 schools and ride the bench all year and never get any playing time. So instead, go to these places that are going to actually see you and make you feel a little bit better about where you're going and knowing, this is a decision that's going to get you on the field.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's like what I was saying is that, like, people want to go Power 5. Like, they see like the Tennessee, the Georgia, the Alabama, like all these guys in the SEC, their stadiums playing in front of hundreds of thousands of people. But at the end of the day, it's more about like you and what you're going to experience, because like we have to live it as athletes. We have to live the college life. We got to live the workouts. We got to live the early mornings, right? I mean, so it's fun playing on Saturdays, and I can only imagine what it's like playing in front of that many people. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's about what suits us best.
And talk about at the end of the day, you're achieving a childhood dream. You were thinking about in Pop Warner playing for like the Lake Norman Giants. You're thinking about college football when you're that age. So
yeah.
How surreal is it knowing that you've got to that point?
It's awesome. It is. It really is cool. Going ESPN. Do interviews like this. Travel. That'll be cool. Traveling different states, playing different guys, different parts of the country. Stuff that you don't really think is possible, but you make it possible. It's super cool. I mean, it's got to be exciting for all of us.
yeah, it's really exciting. Looking back, I know my younger self is proud of me, where I've become because, I never thought playing college football was, even a possibility because I always played lacrosse and that's what I thought I wanted to do. Then, as high school kept going along and, of course, COVID, that affected all of us and took away my lacrosse season. So kind of just showed me my love for football was what came. And, just ever since, just fell in love with it.
Yeah, Jackson, you talk about COVID and how much of an impact that had for y'all. Can you expand a little bit on that? You talked about it a little bit, Jack, about the recruiting process as well. Talk a little bit more just about how much of an impact COVID had on y'all's futures.
I think the biggest part was the weight room for us. We missed a year and a half in the weight room because it was like after our spring freshman year maxes, we went on spring break and, of course, never came back from that. So, just to think about, what our maxes could have been that fall if we worked out all summer together.
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't even play in that fall. We had just workouts like every Tuesday, Thursday. So we basically had the whole summer and fall off from the weight room and then came back that spring and played, it was a 5 games, 6 games maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We, worked out once a week together in the weight room. But, compared to, what the underclassmen are doing right now in the weight room, it's just not even comparable. So I think the weight room is probably the biggest thing that killed us.
Yeah. So over COVID, our guys, I feel like did a really great job though of motivating one another. Like on Twitter, one guy would post like his workout video, and then he'd tag a whole bunch of our teammates in it, and then they would post their workout video, and like that just motivated our whole team to get up and like do it together, which helped out a lot with that. But COVID was like recruiting process wise was probably the biggest hit that we took because like everybody knows the term super senior. So there's guys all over the place that have been in college football and they're 25 years old now. And it's really hard as a high school athlete trying to get into college because these guys still have all these extra years. But like Brock said, you got the competition, you just gotta stand up there with it.
Look at Hendon Hooker's not an outlier anymore in the college football. You get guys that are 25, super seniors, double super seniors.
Yeah.
I think there was the guy from Virginia Tech. He was on the team for I think 7 years.
Yeah.
I think it's the alignment I saw. So it's definitely been a lot different. And in terms of scouts coming down, guys making high school visits, how did that look? Because I know that was something that, especially during COVID, didn't happen. Was it something they kind of pulled away from after everything kind of cleared up, or did you still see those kind of scouts on the field?
I think it took about till. Well, I don't know, when did our first
I would
scouts come
say
by?
so after like the COVID year, so the following year, so
Yeah.
our junior year, they started rolling
Yeah.
in here.
Really?
Oh my gosh! Like they said, like our Coach Fisk and Coach Oliphant said that's the most like they've ever seen.
Yeah.
And we got guys from Power 5 all the way down to Division 3, and we probably saw 25 coaches, 30 coaches in a week.
Yeah.
Just they all pop in. We're fortunate enough here at Lake Norman to have a weight training class, 4th block, which is what these guys are doing right now. And so these guys can come and watch us move around and talk to us at the same time, which is a really cool thing.
So was there ever a point for y'all, you talked about how it kind of pushed you to go one way or the other, was there ever a point for any of y'all where throughout the pandemic you said, all right, maybe college football isn't exactly what I want to do, start thinking of, you talk about being a pilot, Jackson, is that where the backup ideas started to come to play?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Sitting at home, not working out like I should have been. It's a different vibe in a high school football weight room. Everybody's around you and stuff. Kind of just sitting there, not too thinking about football too much. Definitely backup plans. Going to college for academics. But got back serious. COVID's getting close to being wrapped up now. I'm getting there, so all these kids getting back here, getting excited about recruiting again. It's big. It's big. Transfer portal's huge. Recruiting's a lot bigger than I've seen it. When we were sophomores and juniors. It's exciting.
Talk a little bit about, so then on that scope, I know you've got aviation. Talk a little bit about the majors that y'all have. If you've decided what y'all want to do, talk about kind of what your plans are going into school.
I'm going to exercise science for like physiotherapy because I want to stay in the sports field kind of, help athletes who get injured a lot. I like that stuff. So
Yeah, I'm gonna pursue a finance degree. Something that I really want to do is go down and grab small businesses and help bring them up and turn them into something bigger.
And I remember growing up in Charlotte, Mars Hill, the academy they have out there, that's a big thing they had, small business, a focus on business. So
Yeah.
it makes sense it's right in that alley.
Yep. So that'll be perfect. I work small business. I do construction. It's me and one other guy, and so I've done that since I was 16 years old. I'm 18 and a half now, almost 19, and so just kind of seeing that and seeing how that works and just how maybe like an advisor in that could even help. So that's motivated me a lot in that aspect.
And then Brock, what about you?
I flipped already, not even college yet. But going back to that COVID year, I didn't know if I was going to play, so I was looking at construction management coming back in town. But got back into football, fell back in love for it. So I'll be doing the same thing as Hines, be going to the physical therapy field. Staying on the sports side of it though, not like doctor and like that, but want to stay with it. Want to stay with the sport for real this time.
So talk about the program you all had here at Lake Norman and kind of just what was significant about the program, kind of what was able to facilitate you getting to this point.
I feel like Fitz and O did like a great job developing guys. That weight room up there helps. I mean, they work their tails off for recruiting. I mean, they do so much for us. So.
Yeah, Coach O turned around the program immensely because the coach before, I think they went like 2-9,
3-9.
They went like 3-9 the year before Coach O came here, and ever since then, Coach O's had a winning record, putting guys in college, and I think the biggest thing is Coach O actually cares about us. He wants to have personal relationships with us, even Coach Fitz and all the assistant coaches. They make us actually love football, and I think all of us can say we actually love going to practice, actually love working out in the summer. And those are the best parts. Actually just interacting with the coaches and stuff like that.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Night and day. Before I was going to school here, the games were so much different. We look like a football school now. It's like we come out, we have like a little stadium walk, and then we have like the blow up Wildcat. Everybody's packed out in the themes, crowds here because we play good. It's like before, you go like 3-9, people come first quarter and leave, people stay and watch the games. So they've flipped this school, it's a football school. We're an athlete school, I think. We played really well, especially the 4 years that we've been here. So yeah, they've done a great job at it. Kids want to come here, like they want to come be Wildcat.
Yeah, the biggest thing I would say with Lake Norman's program developing so much is the attention to the JV program. Coach Fitz and Coach O. So Coach Fitz is the JV head coach, and he has done such a great job with our JV guys. 2 years ago, our junior year, they won the JV conference championship, and last year I think they only lost one game.
Yeah, co-champions.
Yeah, so they were co-champs last year. So we're bringing up these younger guys along with our older guys, which has really helped develop our program. Like my sophomore year, I was doing so we can do 8-quarter, so we can play JV and varsity. So I got the chance to be a part of a really great JV program in the IMEC, and then also go up and play with the older guys too. So really bringing our guys up with our varsity guys, and we practice them all together. So that's been huge for our guys.
So in that same vein, talk a little bit about the future of this program going forward. Now y'all are leaving it off. You got the other seniors that have left off. Talk a little bit about how you see this program continuing throughout the next couple of years.
I think they'll absolutely still be winning games. The group, the rising seniors this year, are probably one of the most athletic groups they have. They have Tonio, Chewy, great offensive line. So I think they'll be definitely winning games. And JV team last year was really great, and I think they'll only keep getting better.
Everyone's worried, everyone's saying Lake Norman's graduating 32 seniors. We graduated 34 seniors in 2020, and then we went on and won the school's first road playoff game with a group of people that were filling in the spots that were left out. So, we can sit here and be like, oh, Lake Norman graduated all these kids, but our coach's ability to bring these guys up, and there's a lot of guys in that room back there that have played great leadership roles, even as juniors last year with a bunch of seniors on the team. So I know that they'll bring everybody up with them, and that they'll succeed to the level that Coach O wants them to succeed at.
Mm-hmm.
Sprock, you talked about the environment, off the field, the things coming into the game, having, the walking into the stadium, having all that kind of stuff.
Great.
It's when I was in high school, not too terribly long ago, but even then it was not anything like that. You had some teams that had some sort of rituals. You had some teams, I think Nike uniforms were just starting to become a thing in high school football. Talk about how quickly high school football has changed to be almost like a business now. It
is a business completely. People move their families across the country for recruiting purposes. Get kids in different schools. It totally is a business. The recruiting aspect, but those kids bring money. They really do, because they bring tickets, and then it turns into a family. Like our program, we got really good. I think. And like we have a cookout, you know, before games, like you know, everybody's in the parking lot. And schools have copied that, you know, like South Iredell Vikings down there. They decided they wanted a little tailgate halfway through the season, which is whatever.
They wanted to be like Norman.
Yeah. But like people, you know, they admire that. But yeah, business, you know, it does bring money to the schools. I think it's a huge part. Yeah, they do. It does. It is 100% of business.
Even the fundraising, like we raised
Yeah.
32,000 on cards. We have a just like a email thing we do that raised about like 20.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how much money we bring in for fundraising.
Yeah, we probably pull in 50 or 60,000 a year for
Good Lord.
fundraising.
Mhm.
So
The golf tournament too.
yeah, I mean we do all sorts of fundraising, and we do it like it's almost like a GoFundMe, but it's We Fund For You. So we have a company come in and help us out with it. But a lot of the stuff that we do fundraising wise in the community it really helps out our program too, because you get people that are like, oh, like let's help out these guys, let's help support Lake Norman. Like the golf tournament, we get people from we get alumni, current players, coaches, families, all that kind of stuff. So it really brings the community together. And then our card sale, we do one night where it's a blitz, where we go door to door, just like in different neighborhoods all throughout the community, and just ask them if they're willing to support our program. So I feel like that on the business side helps out a lot too.
Talk about how meaningful that is for the community. You know, you see obviously football have an impact in a lot of the other areas as well. You know, got the #1 quarterback in the country. You know, he just committed. You get a lot of impact and a lot of spotlight on those other areas, you know, of North Carolina. But for the Lake Norman area, for that community, talk about just what it means to be able to show the kids that are growing up that, hey, you can get to this point and you can have meaningful football in the area.
It means a lot. It's like, I'll make a church reference right now. So like they say that crying babies in church are a great thing because that means you got more people coming up. So if you got little kids that are looking up, like we do a youth night here. We got like little kids that are always like coming out and seeing us. All of our guys still go back and help at like the middle school practices and like their youth practices. And so kind of trying to play like a little bit of an influence in these kids' life. I mean, and just making them want to come out and be a Wildcat one day it's awesome. And then just seeing all these kids. So we get kids in the end zone, of course, that just love to play football in the back, and then you get kids sitting up in the stands with their families, and just our Friday nights have been so busy over the past 2 years. Like, you've just seen that grow, and that's just because of families that want to come out and support our program.
Like even the youth camp, like seeing all the kids coming up, like it's so fun to like bond with them and really teach them how to play football. Like it's so fun, so that's a big thing. Parents, everyone supports all the time, so we really appreciate it.
I think it's great too, just to get them excited, you know, just maybe even just try out for the team, because I think we had like 120 kids try out last year, and of
Yeah.
course, you know, we don't have 120 jerseys for JV and varsity, so you know, just the fact that we get that many kids, you know, wanting to come here and actually play football, I think is pretty exciting.
So switching gears back to college football now, obviously one of the biggest things when it's come to recruiting outside of how things have changed after COVID, obviously has been transfer portals, NIL. Even at D2, D3, did you see an impact in the way that things were working, and has it been something that's been on your mind going forward?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. Because you got kids falling because of the transfer portal now, because you get Power 5 kids that are now dropping to Group 5 FCS, and then down and down and down. So all these guys and all these coaches are like, we got to win right now. So they're going to pull kids out of the portal that are dropping down from Power 5, because they know that these kids have been in the program and have been in college, so they know what it's like to be a college athlete, versus the high school kids that haven't been in college yet and they're not quite sure what it's like to be a college athlete.
Can't tell you how many schools have like told me, they're like, oh, we're only focused on transfer guys right now. Like, yeah,
Really?
it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
there's
crazy.
a ton.
They're like,
They would
ton
outright
of-
tell y'all that we're just only
Yeah.
like D2 schools, D3
Yep.
schools.
Every
You
level.
can look at Twitter posts.
Every level
See
will tell
when
you.
transfer guys send me film.
Really?
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
That's so. How do they approach that when they tell y'all that? They just say, "Yeah, we're sorry, we're just looking
They're
for."
just like,
Yep.
Yeah.
they like previous coaches haven't done a great job recruiting us, like recruiting for the teams. So we're looking at transfer guys right now because we want to like win right now. Like,
Yeah.
We don't have
wanna
time to develop.
Yeah.
Wow,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that is wild.
It's crazy.
That is that's mind-boggling to me. I understand, you know, putting emphasis on it, but having an entire roster trying to build based off the transfer portal is just wild and, as a strategy.
Yeah.
Let's put a lot of emphasis on one aspect and one avenue of how you get players.
Yeah, there were some schools that had like their whole entire recruiting class was just transfers, and yeah, just literally just transfers.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy.
They all see it as a way to rebuild,
Yeah.
and not, instead of bringing people up, they see it as they're already here, so we're going to rebuild that way instead of rebuilding with our young guys.
I mean, it's not the same scale, but that'd be like an NFL team not drafting any players and just
Yeah,
going straight into free
exactly.
agency.
Yeah, it's very similar.
That is wild. But then, so now, as far as NIL goes, is that something that you all have talked with your parents about, with your coaches about, the schools about? Obviously, it's not, something where you're going to get a big, giant deal, like that. But has it been something that's been on your mind?
We
Don't say anything that's going to, incriminate yourself or get yourself in trouble. But
we definitely see a lot of it as athletes. I mean, us we joke around about it all the time, just because you get guys like Arch Manning that's getting $7 million to go to Texas.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
next. It's all right.
Yeah. But I think at a lower level of football, you're going to get a lot more community-based NIL deals. I know a lot of guys get deals with Bojangles and stuff like that, or Barstool Sports does a lot of stuff with guys. But I think that comes a little bit later in your career for a lower level like that, because they want to see you develop as a person mostly. Because these guys will sit here and tell you that they recruit character, but they want to see what kind of person you really are before they're endorsing you at that level.
So when you get to the D2, D3 level, it's a lot more about trying to play your sport, continue to grow as a man, and grow as a person,
Degree.
get a degree as well. Is the next level after that still on your mind?
Absolutely. I don't want to say it won't happen. But if it happens, it happens. And of course, I don't want to work toward that. Be the best athlete I can be. And if opportunity comes, I'd love to take it. But if not, I want to just pursue my career and just be happy with what I have.
Yeah, that's like a see how it goes type of thing for me at least. I don't have one set goal right now. It's just be the best football player possibly and see how life goes.
Mm-hmm. And we see D2 and D3 guys going pro all the time. LR sent one kid last year he was huge. He was a receiver.
Larson,
He's playing for Seattle now.
The safety of the
Yeah.
year.
So you see all these lower guys still going pro, and it's motivating.
And now more than ever, with multiple facets to be able to play professional football in the United States, not going overseas or to Canada, is the XFL, the USFL. Is that something that's on your mind too?
Yeah,
that'd be
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah.
I was talking to the coach. So I was talking to Brevard for a while down there, and their coach is also a coach in the USFL for the team in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So I don't want to say it wrong.
The Maulers,
Something like that. So even the lower level guys got connections to everybody.
Would that be something that'd be funny to play in a different style league, different thing like that?
Do it. It's ball, man.
Yeah.
Just keep playing football.
Yeah, man. It'd be fun. Same feel for me. I think
Mm-hmm.
playing football after college. For something that's gonna be televised. That's you get it pretty much. But it's about the degree first. That's why you're there. A lot of kids forget that. They do think it is the business aspect, and it is college. But, if it works out, if it works out, you get drafted, you get drafted.
So wrapping up here, just each you on a line, and Matt, we can start with you, 'cause especially you had the shortest tenure, just doing something different and then getting into football a little bit later. So you can start, and the same question will be for y'all, but just talk, if there's a kid who's coming up, they even get it in a little bit later, because now it seems everyone gets started, like you said, right at 5 years old, as soon as possible. Talk a little bit about just or talk a little bit about how you can still have a future in this job or in this field, no matter when you start.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have the passion for football and the love for it, it'll take you wherever you want. 7th grade was when I really liked Brawley. Is when I really loved football. Paying attention to NFL, college, that just gets you so much more into the game. So working out, people don't like it as much, but if you love football, you're to work out and do whatever's possible to go to the next level. So.
And for y'all, just talk a little bit about what you would tell, to someone who's, growing up, wanting to achieve this dream.
I think finding an NFL player that, for me, it was Travis Kelce and George Kittle, an idol to look up to, not replicate all of your game around it, but, just someone to look up to and, say, hey, they're doing it, so why can't I? And just be the best version you can be, but, look up to somebody like that.
I would say just make sure that you're passionate about it and that it's something that you love doing, because you're going to get to a certain level where if it's not something that you're going to be really passionate about, then that you want to do, then it's, not going to be a super enjoyable thing. But, if it's something that you're you know that you're going to be passionate about, then 100% go for it. We saw a kid in our conference this year, and it was his first year playing football, and he's going to Virginia to play football. So he's a senior in high school, decided to go out for football, and now he's going Power 5. So, I mean, anything's possible.
Take it 1 year at a time. You'll fall in love with the sport if you're playing. Recruiting and that stuff will come later, but you gotta love the sport first. You gotta play it. You love it for like every bit of it, like the Friday, the week, like the long week of practice heading up to it. Like long practice, hitting each other, beating each other up. But like you wake up on Friday and you put your jersey on, walk around the school. It's a good feel, and then you run out on Friday night lights. So you gotta love the sport. And you gotta be an athlete. But you can train to be an athlete. But if you don't love the sport, it's not gonna love you back.
Well, Jackson, Matt, Jack, Brock, thank you guys so much for joining me this week. You can check out all of them and their futures going forward at their various and respective schools, and not just them, but the other 3 guys that also signed on from Lake Norman. A great group. We talked about it. That was the most y'all think you'll have had for one class?
I think so.
Yeah, close.
If not, it's
Right up there.
still up
higher.
there. You get 7 in one
Top
in
two.
one time.
Top
Yeah.
two.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations to y'all. Good luck in your future careers. And, guys, you can listen to this episode and all of our episodes for the Bahakel Sports 704 High School Highlights anywhere you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere like that. So you can tune in the full episode there. And, of course, we'll talk to y'all later.